Let's talk about the new movie, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. We got the chance to go see this movie yesterday, and let me just say, this is a movie you see in the biggest screen with the biggest sound possible. But before we get any further into that, make sure you're subscribed and comment below your favorite Mission Impossible movie. And also, if you want to enter the giveaway, make sure that you comment below, I want to enter the giveaway. And all you have to do as well is be subscribed. And 200 subscribers or so, we will announce the winner at 28,000. So make sure you are entering that giveaway. But this is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. We have Christopher McQuarrie coming back to make the seventh film in the franchise, and this is part one of a two-parter, so we're definitely going to get into some of that talk about what this sets up and how it possibly could be pretty good in a full spoiler video next week, so stay tuned for that. But let's talk about the movie and if it's a must watch or not. So this is Tom Cruise doing what Tom Cruise does best, and that is giving us big action on the biggest screen possible. And like I said at the beginning, this is an IMAX movie for sure. There are some stunts, there's some action scenes, there is loud booms and all of that you need to see on that huge screen that is IMAX. And I think that Tom Cruise, of course, always is doing the best that he does when he comes to action movies. But newcomers here like Haley Atwell and Pom Clementif as well are doing a good job at keeping up with this sort of high octane action, and I really did enjoy the scenes we saw from them. You also have Bing Rams, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Vanessa Kirby returning, and always great to see when recurring characters come back into the franchise and they're weaving in together in a way that doesn't feel jarring, where it's just like, just want to bring back that character from that movie to get a reaction, you know? It feels genuine in this one. And I think the story here is definitely a story that feels like it's definitely a setup for sure. And I think that can definitely make some people question whether it is a good movie or not. And in a way, I do see those complaints that this just feels like it's sort of giving us all the information we need in order to go into the second one, and might not feel like its own movie. But at the same time, I did hear those same complaints from Across the Spider-Verse, and I do feel that Across the Spider-Verse felt more of a complete movie than Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 does, but overall, I still enjoyed it. I do think that we do have some of the best action scenes here that we've seen all year, and maybe from some of the Mission Impossible films. I especially want to talk about that train scene, because that was definitely one of the most nerve-wracking scenes for sure. Even though, you know, like in movies and all of that, you know the hero's going to make it, you know that it's going to be okay, but at the same time, when a movie really has you questioning, like, are they going to be okay or not? I think that's definitely a good, solid movie right there. And that's exactly what happened during a lot of these scenes right here. I think that one of the biggest ones in particular is a scene that's in the trailer already that you've seen, where Mr. Mission Impossible Tom Cruise themselves are just going up a ramp on like a mountain and just jump. That was one of the best scenes to look on IMAX, just like the way it was designed. Incredible, from the sound to the visuals and everything. Edge of your seat type action for sure. And I think that a film like Mission Impossible also is a film that you might not think has some humor in it, but I think a lot of these actors definitely do a great job at bringing that humor. Here specifically, Simon Pegg is always hilarious to see, and I think that that balance between that action and that sort of like thrill of the movie injected with that comedy really does make this a film that its runtime is pretty long at 2 hours and 40 minutes, but I think that all of those factors added in together really make this film feel very cohesive and smooth, where it doesn't feel like you need to be looking at your watch all the time like, when is this going to end? You're just there thinking like, what is about to happen next? And you're not worried about what the time or the runtime has been so far, or just wanting to get out of there. So I think that's very important to always have in a movie, is that comedy that sort of balances everything out. Because, you know, action scenes and everything can be cool, but if you keep on just repeating, it can start to feel dull and just overdone. So here they do a good job at sort of balancing those things out, especially with the thrills as well, because there is a lot of moments of tension here that build up so well, and you really are just wondering what is about to happen. So I really did enjoy that the film had all of those balances going on. Like I said, I think that the story in itself, it definitely is a setter-upper for the second film. but at the same time, I do see the conclusive ending to some of these characters, or sort of new beginnings for others as well, and sort of set it up right by the end. And I will say, overall, I did have a good time with it. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the action, the comedy, the acting as well. And Tom Cruise is always going to bring you a spectacle. I mean, we've seen it all the way from Top Gun last year and to today now with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. So definitely a movie to see in theaters. It is definitely that movie for sure. A lot of days now, we don't know if we should see a movie in theaters or not, or we can wait for streaming and all of that. And this is one of the ones that I will tell you, it is a must watch on the big screen for sure, because you are not going to get that thrill, that high octane feeling of watching these scenes if you're watching it at home, where you can't get the full blast sound of the theater. This is the one to see in theaters if you're going to watch a movie in theaters for sure. There's some things with the plot here and there, and if you really think about it and stuff, that kind of makes you feel like things don't make sense. But I'm always one that tries to detach myself from that reality of things and just see it as the viewpoint of the movie. And so I was okay with those things, but I could definitely see those things kind of making you think a lot about it as well, and maybe not really enjoy the plot as much. But I think everything else makes up for that in the end. And I will definitely say I give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning 4 stars out of 5, and I definitely do recommend you see this in theaters, and if it's possible in your budget and all of that, on the biggest screen possible, because do not miss this on IMAX for sure. I think one of the most important aspects of the film as well, when you have an action movie, is that camera direction. You know, sometimes you don't want this camera that's going to be jerky, moving around, fast paced. It can work in certain scenes, and then there's some action movies that do take too much advantage of this, and it sort of comes off lazy, disorienting, whatever you want to call it. But I think when it comes to Mission Impossible, the way the camera's moved and everything, it just feels very much so tight and just keeps the adrenaline going. It doesn't make you get out of the movie, because, you know, sometimes when that action is too fast paced, it can kind of feel a little like you're gonna get sick, you know. So I think that is definitely one of the best parts about the movie, is that the camera knows the flow of the action and it keeps it very much so good. And I think that the final act, the third act, is one of the strongest acts. Like insane, honestly. From beginning to end, you're just holding your breath, wondering how are they gonna get out of all of this, and you feel like there is no escape, there's no way they're gonna do this, and ultimately there is a way. And it just is incredible to see a feat, honestly. The train scene, that's all I'll say right now. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Are you excited for this movie? Are you planning to see it in theaters, or are you waiting for it? Did you enjoy the last one, Fallout? And are you excited for part 2 as well? We'll definitely talk about part 2 in my spoiler review next week, so stay tuned for that. But we're definitely excited to see more of Ethan Hunt. And yeah, Tom Cruise is bringing you back to the movies once again this year. So anyways, make sure you subscribe, comment below your favorite Mission Impossible movie, and that also gets you an entry into the giveaway that we're doing. All you have to do is be subscribed and comment below. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.